Russia's first great fiction writer, Nikolai Gogol, once published a short story called Diary of a Madman. First-person narrative presented in the form of a diary, it's a tale of a government clerk who gradually descends into insanity. At the outset, the clerk records his frustrations and humiliations straightforwardly, rationalizing various affronts to his dignity. But over time, his reasons give way to delusion, distrust, and an escalating psychosis. I read this story after stumbling across a library copy of a Penguin classic of Gogol's short fiction works. The year was 1982, and I was 10. Why would a 10-year-old check out the work of a mid-1800s Russian fiction writer? Simple. Ozzy Osbourne made me do it. I spent the good part of my adolescent years listening and learning how to, quote, fit in. I had notes to prove it. And in the process of my studies, I got shit wrong. It seems that somewhere amidst the murmur of discussions revolving around Ozzy Osbourne's then new album Diary of a Madman, I saw and moved towards Gogol's Diary of a Madman. Crazy for sure. Still, that was how my mind worked back then. I gripped onto whispers and like faded voices that spoke them, I lost a lot of content. Nevertheless, I read Gogol's classic short story and I was frightened. Frightened on account Gogol's narrator, the clerk, started off as a man of thought, reason, and clarity. A man I could admire. A man I could, over time, one day see myself being. Could I thought to myself, like Gogol's clerk, live out a fruitful, productive, and engaging life, only to one day slip ever so slowly into the trenches of madness? My conclusion then and now, yes, I could. We all could. But why? On account all thought, feeling, and self-expression, regardless of what our advanced cerebral cortexes tell us, is sourced from a network of complex neurological pathways involving hormones, neurotransmitters, receptor sites, potassium and sodium ions, nerve cells, action potentials, calcium gates, synaptic clefts, and a whole lot more I won't suggest I know about, nor dare say I completely understand. Put simply, the near sum total of all we are is chemistry. Chemical reactions in our brain that tell us who we are, what's what, and why's why. On a very primitive level, there is no such thing as free thought, only directed responses to sensory and by default neurological inputs. And for biological, pharmaceutical, and sometimes nefarious reasons, we go insane. Yes, you, I, and that guy over there can all go bonkers. Regrettable, but true. So what's my point? Aside from demonstrating how poor my listening skills were at the age of 10, my point is, I have two friends, a man and a woman, a couple actually, who for all practical purposes slipped into behaviors that could be deemed as out of sort. Thus far, the realities of their daily lives are not completely clear to me, so I can't say I completely understand what's sourcing their strange behaviors. Still, on account of their less than classified steady love of chemical indulgences, I feel they might be suffering from a self-inflicted form of psychosis, likely stemming from excessive methamphetamine use. Still, this thought is only conjecture on my part, for they both feel they're under attack by another, someone who wishes them harm, someone I also know, and from my knowledge of this person, cannot completely rule out their fears. So at this point, I brace myself against my love for them, stand my ground as a friend, supporting any and all behaviors that result in their resting, loving, and supporting one another, and or actions that help them stay away from their chemical indulgences. For now, this is all I know to do. If you have any more ideas, be sure to let me know.